Bartail has been one of the persons who's watched all the shows. I talk to him on a regular basis in the EverQuest Next IRC channel.
What we saw with, Kunark for EQ2, you did those 400 quests, you did all the content, and at the end of it, the world wasn't changed.
Yeah, I'm Phantom X. I do social media and write articles for EQ Nexus.
For the Fall of Bastion, there was a very definite, okay, this is where your story is going to fit into the world.
Listen, fluffy looking beard. Thank you. Listen, I went and I killed a dragon, and then 2 drops of whiskey hit my face, and I willed this manly beard into cow was raised. Yes.
Hello and welcome to the EverCast show. This is episode number 34, I think, which we've titled to Just Looking for Some Recognition. I am one of your hosts, Tamlin. With me are the standard crew of hosts. Say hi, everyone, to everyone watching the show and listening online.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Welcome to the Sunday bout of EverCast.
Hello.
Hey, so Flatus, I hear that you are the person that came up with the name. Could you explain the Just Looking for Some Recognition title?
Yes. Well, AI learns and it recognizes things, and recognition would be software that would learn and recognize stuff like we would expect to see in EverQuest. It's a smart thing. Listen, there's a lot.
And there's another level. Also, EverQuest Next and Storybricks are trying to just get a little recognition for all their hard work. Trying to really show you that this can be done. So a little two-layered there. It was very intelligent, Gladys. Bravo.
And also, it's also because we're looking for recognition from the AI, because remember, every AI is supposed to have its own kind of like faction-based thing, so
that's what you can expect from EverCast.
Yeah, this title's very
intelligent discussion.
Yeah, this title's very Inception-esque. We're 3 layers deep already in this title.
It just makes me want to quote a comedian. Nero.
Whee!
What comedian is that? I have to ask. I'm sorry.
Jeff Dunham.
Oh, I like Jeff Dunham.
Puppet Boy.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so we don't have an episode like last Sunday where we're completely off topic all night long. It'll only be half. Let's agree. Off half topic, half of the night. Is that okay? We have half of the show on topic, half of the show off topic.
Sure.
I'm trying to resolve some technical difficulties. You guys are going to have to carry the show a little bit without me.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's not jump anything. Why don't we
really quickly? Somebody said that Chewina got prettier since our last episode. It actually used the word prettier for Chewina.
I'm so pretty. You're so pretty.
I
shaved. That's all I did.
He's like,
I got it fixed. It's covered.
What? I was gonna say, wait, whoa. It's like, what about Talon and I? What are we, fucking chop liver over here? We get nothing? Talon and Stratus are the same.
You guys are looking great tonight.
They better be saying nice things for me. There was a complaint that there was not enough beard in the last show, so I'm growing it back out. It's coming back.
Yeah, I may listen. It's almost that time where this beard may be coming back. I'm just saying.
ECast news breaking: Tanlin and Flatus are growing beards. Yeah, this is the hard-hitting news that you would come to expect from us.
I will not be growing a beard, but perhaps I could crochet myself one. If you would like to see Kylest crochet and wear a beard for an episode, please hashtag KaiBeard.
All right.
Can we get that trending?
EverCast_show. Please, just tweet me KaiBeard.
Also, I just in case anybody's wondering, I'm not drinking like soda. I'm actually drinking caramel cream ale from a local brewery that's like 15 minutes away from my house called Due South Brewery, and it's delicious. It's brewed with vanilla beans and caramel. It's so good.
I hate you.
Did you get paid for that?
Just a little.
I,
But you
I was just
should
wondering if you got
I-
anything that we didn't know about there, man.
I didn't, but if they listen, Due South, if you want to send me a case of beer, I'll go pick it
You
up.
know
You're
what?
not that far
I am
from
so
my
going to
house.
track them down and point them in the direction of this video. Just for the
Yeah,
sake of
yeah, we should all
SMG.
send them emails. Yeah.
Oh, please, can that happen?
We're gonna get you some recognition, sir, for that right there.
All right,
So EverCast news.
Just
What's up with that,
one
Talon?
bit of EverCast news, then it goes along with the train off the tracks, just going wherever momentum is carrying it. I won't be on the next show. It'll be the first one since we've started doing the EverCast that I'm actually missing a show. So apologies for the next episode if it. I have no control.
I've already got.
Terrible.
Listen, I'm not saying anything, but I've already got plans for like a little audio opener for that show, and it's gonna be fantastic.
Oh! So are you writing the next episode?
I don't know. I think Chewy may have to run that.
Oh, I was about to like fist pump saying yes, but apparently I myself.
Really quickly, I am going to be on the next episode. He's just taking the night off, so it's possible they're going to put me in the seat of power. I mean, awesome!
Yeah, maybe. That's
She
actually
could
a
run it.
possibility.
She
Yeah,
could.
we
She
might-
could have
She's
the
got
whole,
all the stuff there.
Yeah.
I am all for not doing anything.
Yes, you are!
Let's do it. Let's do
Where's
it.
that shots fired?
I was wondering if that was going to be like, phew!
All right. So artificial intelligence. Oh, wait, Flash.
Flatus is talking.
Pulling
Can't
a
hear
Talon.
him.
Woo!
Is he,
pulling a
he's
Talon?
not talking to anybody.
No, I'm
He's
not.
moving his mouth.
I was not pulling a Talon.
We didn't hear you.
I was.
Are you
And now
following
you've
me
gone
now,
robotic.
Mike?
No. Oh no.
All right, so to start it out, like let's try to get the show on the road, a little bit back on track, as it were. We opened up in our pre-show and we showed the 30-minute video that SOE finally gave to us. That is basically a retelling of the content of EverQuest Next panel that they did at SOE Live. And it's awesome. It is everything that we had hoped that they would tell us again, because it is one of the foundations that, like, the pillars that EverQuest Next is going to be built on. And so it's important for them to like be very, very clear on what that pillar is and why it's important and what it means to the world. So. Yeah, that is the content of EverQuest Next, the Storybricks AI panel, as it's been nicknamed. Hey guys, was it awesome, or am I just like out there?
I think you're absolutely correct, especially that it is a pillar, and we haven't had as much information up until this SOE Live as I think we should have for it being such a big pillar. But I think a lot of that is still them working on the inside. But oh my god, absolutely! Even the new footage that was included in the video, I was so happy to see that new footage. It was really pretty. The SOE Live footage was not that good. They had time to refine it, make it look nice. It was very cool.
Well, and I think that they heard us say the things that we wanted to see in the video, like when they gave that priest the staff, and then she walks by with the staff of power or whatever it is, and all the other dark elves start bowing to her. Because when we saw that at SOE Live, we were like, show us that video because we want it. We want to show how all they have to do is like drop that piece of equipment on any dark elf, and all the other dark elves will react to that player accordingly. And that's like wow, that's that they're building the world so that the characters or the NPCs in it, like, they have this, they react to one another. They're not just scripted. They like, oh hey, that's an important person, I should show them respect. All of that stuff that's like amazing.
Yeah, and the sword. The dark elf had the sword that brought all the boys to the yard, and it was better than y'all's because obviously the dark elves were following him and not you all. So I think that's important too, to add that we can in fact lure people in with a big sword. Because bigger's always better when it comes to MMOs, isn't it?
But you can't get to London in a rowboat.
All right, for those who didn't get any of those references.
I'm like, yeah, wait.
Absolutely, though. I think it's one of the coolest factors is one that none of these NPC events are technically scripted. They're all kind of computed on the fly. So yes, they have a program that's running behind them, but it's looking for live. How'd you put this? Inputs, I guess. It's looking for inputs, and as the inputs come in, it computes based on what it's programmed to compute with live. So it's not something that you walk into a zone. It's scripted out every time. Things are going to be happening on the fly right in front of you. Just like with that weapon video, you pop on that crown, you pop out that staff, it's going to change everything around you.
See, in human circles, right, like psychology, it's called reacting to stimuli. That's what we are all like our own intelligence, right? But we react to the stimulus according to what we find the appropriate response or the most valuable response. And the NPCs are all written, they're not scripted to behave specifically to direct inputs. They react to those stimuli on the fly, like how important is this to them, and they react to that differently depending on the circumstances involved, right? That's how we're understanding it.
Yeah, that's a great intelligent way to put it. Much better than what I did. Absolutely. What do you guys think about when he put the item into the world? They put the magical sphere thing in the world, and then the dark elves start coming to that to take the power. That's pretty cool, huh? That means we can actually kind of, I don't know if that confirms us placing items in the world that can interact with things. But I thought it was really interesting that not only the NPCs interacted to us, but a change in their surroundings. So if I put an item down or a campfire down, they may come and take warmth under my campfire.
I think it would be neat if I could build a stronghold and a campfire and a little area to do trading, and it would actually draw NPCs or other players there. I think that would be really cool. But the idea of putting down this power crystal thing that suddenly all the priestesses are like, oh, it's over there. That pushes hokey just a little too far for me. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that they're going to do it or that it's possible for them to do it. It just seems a little weird.
I was going to say it would be cool if a way around that would be if the word spread that the crystal was in your possession and people sought you out. And it came, that instead of people you pull out the sword and people just came from I just came from over there because I felt that power, versus where someone was just dude, I heard from the messenger that came through here that this sword was here and I came to check it out.
That would be
I'm sorry. Oh no. What's wrong?
Put your magical staff away. It's causing interference.
We just can't handle.
We cannot handle. We cannot bow enough to you, sir.
So going back on what you guys had just talked about, and we were talking about how in previous video, the developers asked, at nighttime, should the world be more threatening, more risky to go traveling out at night? And I think that the overwhelming response to that question that the developers put out was yes, absolutely. And so the conversation you guys were just having, it was wow, that would be really cool if something as simple as hey, I'm out in the middle of the forest and I'm caught out there at night, but I do know that if I put down a fire, I can keep the wolves at bay, not through attacking them. I can just, because the wolves have that animal intelligence AI in them that's fire bad, avoid. And all of a sudden, you can be out in the middle of the forest and the wolves won't bother you if you stay by your campfire. I mean, is that too much? Looking at the itty bitty ants in the tree and not noticing that, oh my goodness, it's a forest? What do you guys, is that good, bad?
Yeah, I think if you can capture the attention of a gamer on a small little level personally and keep them excited about small things in the game, you're doing a damn good job. Because if you're not having to create this big giant storyline every couple months to keep them excited about the game, I think those little details help. Just like in H1Z1, rain doesn't fall if you're under a tree. It knows that you're not getting wet. Something cool like that creates a gameplay moment where I have to literally seek out some shade or seek out some cover when it's raining. So that's a cool little gameplay system, and it just adds to the game. I don't think it could take away, unless it became a nuisance, but that's my opinion.
Hi, I'm back. Am I robot-y
So
still?
much
You're not
better.
so much better.
Hi. I don't know what happened. I'm gonna try starting the sound. I know I should be doing this. Like, I'm gonna show soundboard. I'm gonna play a sound. I'm just gonna do my evil laugh.
No sound.
No evil laugh.
Well, there you go. Do I sound like a robot now?
Nope.
No.
No.
All right. Well, things happened.
Alrighty. So, let's talk a little bit about the history of AI and dynamic events. Before it was an immersive world in AI, the big buzzword in the industry was the whole dynamic event system, which was the developers were trying to put systems into their world that weren't the same thing over and over and over again, because they thought, players are telling them like, hey, we're seeing the same stuff over and over and over. It's boring. We don't want that anymore. We want something more. We want something more than that. And so they started coming up with these dynamic event systems. And the first one that I can really think of is Rift. And just a quick glimpse of what Rift dynamic events are. In their most basic form is that Rift is about a plane of existence that opens up rifts to other planes of existence where the things in that plane of existence come through. And their dynamic event system is exactly that. You're walking around in the world, a rift opens up, and it spawns a dynamic event. And there's an encounter that occurs at random points in the world. And from those random points, the NPCs that spawn will go running off in a direction, and they might take over a quest hub, which is in essence taking over a city, right? And so that was the first iteration that we saw. Guild Wars 2 tried to do a same sort of dynamic event system where they hid more of the mechanics behind the scenes, but it was the same sort of a scripted event system where this event started, and if no players got involved with the event that had started, then there was a consequence, and it would go to the next phase of the event. And then if the players reacted and pushed it back, then they could push it back to a different event. But it was this constant, set of choices that the players would do one thing or the NPCs would do one thing. And that was the next iteration that we saw of a dynamic event system. And as we saw in the Storybricks panel, EQ Next is promising us this new third system that is, we all think it's incredible, but we're drinking the Kool-Aid here. So what do we see is, what are our thoughts, our comments, our worries about this sort of system as it evolves into EQ Next?
The five laws of robotics.
Rules of robotics.
Thank you. It's been a messed up week, so if I, quote things wrong,
no, it's cool.
Many apologies today. I am still totally not on my game 100%. He is correct. It is the 3 rules of robotics. But it would be interesting to see them sort of take over, go crazy, do what the developers don't expect it to do, break themselves. That could be fun.
Yeah. And real quick, so if you don't know what the 3 rules of robotics are, is that and this usually goes with robots because robots have artificial intelligence, but it could work theoretically in game because it's AI. A robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. A robot must obey orders given to it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law.
First law, yeah.
And a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. So apply that to AI, then it's like, well, if let's say the dragon may not injure a human being through inaction or allow a human being.
Dragon.
Yeah, right. So they're kind of like, it'd be kind of interesting to say like, well, we're kind of throwing those rules out the door.
But those rules might translate elsewhere. Like an NPC should not do this or should not do that. So while I guess it's not completely applicable rules, there will be rules guiding the interaction.
Yeah, I would say that you would see rules like we will never let the orcs become the orcs shall never get so powerful that they surround the city of Freeport and players get mob killed by like 50 of them the moment they step outside the gate. Right? That would be that would make the world non-fun. It might be a realistic world. as a city is under siege by orcs, but it wouldn't be perfect. But it would be a fun world, right? Or it wouldn't be a fun world. It would be a more realistic world. I'm sorry, I got my thoughts mixed up by the evil laugh.
So no, you have a good point though. Ultima Online apparently was trying this kind of system out, sort of an emergent AI system for their NPCs back in the day, and they were having major problems balancing the ecosystem. Certain mobs would become too powerful. They didn't have the computational power at the time. Plus, I guess think of the amount of resources that would take to create this sort of system. Storybricks has been working on this since the beginning. They're not necessarily a game company. They're an AI company that's being hired by a game company to incorporate their ideas. So I have heard a lot of criticism about that regard and wondering if it will become another Ultima Online and stuff like that. But I don't know. It spawned off of Talon's idea, but I don't think we have anything to worry about in that regards. What do you guys think? Do you worry about how this is going to be pulled off before we continue into Rift and stuff like that?
I don't know. I mean,
are you drinking the Kool-Aid?
I'm so far into the Kool-Aid.
I don't drink Kool-Aid. It's too sweet.
It is super sweet.
Can you guys not hear me now?
We can hear you. We already talked over you.
I was like, oh, they can't hear me again. No, they were like, screw Splatus. He's got an opinion. Screw it. Let's just talk over it.
Our bad.
No, it's okay.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
That's what I thought. No, I was thinking after that whole stint that we'll see this in action, hopefully, with when they give us power in to do it in Landmark, and we should be able to see an H1Z1, whichever comes first, by the way. One of those two things is going to break first. We'll be able to see if it's going to break in H1Z1 or if we're going to be able to break it in Landmark.
I think that
we'll get Landmark first.
Well, and I think that H1Z1 will be a better comparison of like what will break in the AI, simply because there's a difference between like some NPCs that you can throw on a plot that will probably never be able to leave that plot until they change permissions, and then zombies running through the world that can form huge masses, Zerg things and stuff like that. And I think that they've shown, like, from the H1Z1 demo, they showed like bird flocks using the system, their AI system.
They did show that. It had to do with a corpse, I think, and the birds were coming down to eat the corpse. That's the system they were working on. So the bears, they have wolves. They'll eat the deer and players, of course, and I think they'll even attack the zombies. So necessarily, if you're with some zombies and a bear, you might want to root for the bear, depending on the situation.
Right.
Which is pretty cool. And then they had flocks of birds programmed to come down, and you can shoot the birds down from the sky if you want to. They're building a lot of really cool ecosystem things.
No, right. And so that's why I think that H1Z1 will be a better example of the AI that Storybricks will deliver for EQ Next. I would look more to H1Z1 than I would to Landmark. I think that Landmark is going to be interesting because we get to pull behind and look behind the curtain and see how we can mess with it, which gives us an idea of how the developers can mess with it. But two totally different things that I'm looking forward to from those two games.
What I think would be really interesting is to see people fail to get certain things done in the world and dragons take over to a point where it's difficult or impossible to get back to where it should be. I wonder if it's going to be like the programmers have like this stopping point where like the AI, I'm sorry, you can't break this far. Like, the dragons aren't allowed to gain more than X power, or more than 90% of this city can never be destroyed. Or like, will they have barriers, walls that are pre-programmed in that says this is never allowed to get further than this particular point? And if they don't do that, what would happen?
Yeah, no, you're right. I think that has to happen. I imagine that's going to be a huge beta test thing for EverQuest Next, because you can't really test it on any scale, even in Landmark, that much until you have EverQuest Next made. So I bet that's what beta testing for EverQuest Next is going to be like. Holy shit, did we break it? What's going on? We need to get this working. Something along those lines. Yeah, I mean, you can't let it go past the point of no return, because then you have to figure out about making a new point of return. You know, players have to be able to play the game. So if one avenue or one path is cut off, they have to create another path for players to progress through. And they could do that. I mean, we're talking about starting cities last week, I think, or the week before, saying that a starting city doesn't necessarily have to stay. Doesn't have to be concrete. It doesn't have to stay a starting city, as long as another starting city appears. So Kinos could be totally destroyed, and then Freeport could pop up, and players could start there instead. So as long as they're kind of building the new avenues, I think that it could be really cool if those could happen, but it'll probably be limited until those new avenues are ready to be put up.
And the way that they want, like, their story system work, why not flip a switch and have something destroy Kinos and make a storyline out of it? The take back, or like the freeing of or the battle for Kinos or something like that, where we go and we come back as players and try to battle it out and take back Kinos for us, and have a new starting, have two.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, why not? Like, why can't they do it? Like, let the AI run its course and dictate how story flows out, but still fall in line to their guidelines based on what the AI is doing.
Right, and that goes back to the thing that I've said like the last 3 or 4 shows, that I would love to see SOE react to what the AI is doing in the world, instead of force it and make it act certain ways. Like, if they notice that this is what the AI is doing through its own internal, systems or whatever, that they react to it and be like, okay, so the dragon is becoming more powerful and it's really taking over the city. So let's react to that situation that we see on the servers and write story to go along with it, because it makes the world, it's that unpredictable element, that conflict that is not foreseen, that actually is like, makes you want to log in and see like, okay, well, what are we going to do? Because we have no solution that's been easily provided for us.
Yep, absolutely. And that's the best part. Like, and to see that unfold, it would be crazy.
Creating that story experience, like being a dungeon master or being in your D&D group and being able to create the story as you go. You're right. You don't know necessarily which path to take. You don't know what kind of traps lie in the path. So that's up for the DM to know. But if you make the player sort of a DM, you see what they're doing in the world, you see how the AI path's taking it, then you're essentially creating a story that they have direct impact on. I mean, this is basically the philosophy of EQN and Landmark kind of is that the players are influencing the game left and right, helping design it. If they continued the actual game and created the story going forward in that way, in that regard, oh my god. Like, I think that would be a game I played till I died. Right there. I'm happy.
I just want to say that I love Legendary. Like, he cracks me up. And this makes me completely happy. That farmer's wife you got with could be the next Archlich one day, solely to annihilate you. Oh my god, I love it.
Well, yeah.
So, that is a great point. I love the idea that, and that goes to his nemesis, that question that he asked, that I can briefly answer if you guys don't mind. Like, I'll read.
Can you state the question too?
Sure.
Question.
Kylest will read the question. Do you have it?
I love that he's like, oh, Kai, you.
Oh, I thought you had it in front of you.
I will read it. Are you talking about the Shadows one?
No, it's hold on. How would the Shadows of Mordor Nemesis system work out in an MMO environment? How about?
I say, are you talking about the Shadows one? He's like, nope.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Fuck you. That was the one.
I tried to roll my communication skill and failed it. Sorry, my bad.
It's only a game. Why do you have to be mad?
You totally had to tell me a show.
So,
Not to be pet.
so
What is the nemesis system?
So
Cameron?
basically, every enemy in the game has their own name, rank, and memory. These enemies will continue to do their own jobs and tasks, even when they're off screen. The game progresses in real time, even if you do not interfere. And as such, when an enemy you meet in one gameplay session suddenly becomes a higher rank the next time you meet them. And I think that
So story breaks for a single player game.
Right, and I think that we've seen a little bit of that in the what they showed us in the video, in that they can take, a staff of power and give it to an NPC, and then all of the other NPCs around that NPC behave differently to them. And so I can see very easily in the game that they're like, these NPCs are going to like go and they're going to try and acquire this type of magic. And the first one of those NPCs that gets his bar filled up all the way, and this is all behind the scene. It's not like you click on them and you see how far their bar is. But when they get their bar full, all of a sudden they're like, okay, now I imbue this magic item. And when I have this magic item, I equip it. And now everything around me behaves differently, and I behave differently because it's like I've leveled up. And I think that's cool, but I don't think that every single NPC should have it. I think that they should not script it, that they should make it so that, especially for the Dark Elves, right? The first Dark Elf that gets that staff of power or that sword of power, all of a sudden they stop the other NPCs from getting the same item they have, because now they're sharing that prestige with other NPCs, and they don't want to do that. I think that's a great
theory,
question,
right? Yeah, it's game theory. You're winning, so you're wanting to make the others lose instantly. Go ahead, Kai.
So we have like these weapons, right? And these items that imbue the person with some sort of like draw, this prestige that the NPCs are drawn to. I want the opposite of that. I want to see these items that are so terrible to wield that they don't want to talk to you, that they don't want to deal with you, and that they fucking avoid
They
you.
lock the doors.
Because there has to be the opposite to that, right? Not everything
I
should be beneficial. Not everything should be positive. And maybe these things are scattered through the world, and you don't know that that item is cursed or terrible, or you don't know that that item is the best thing ever. I think that would be really neat to discover through interaction or the lack of interaction what type of item you have.
Dude, that sword that you're wielding, it sucks the soul out of everything you kill. You are a bad person. Stay away from our city.
Stay away from the voodoo, dude.
Stay away from the voodoo man.
Gay. Totally not a nerd, really.
Now, there was another question that I wanted that someone asked in channel that I was going to get to, because it goes again into one of the conversations that the people were having on that long Reddit thread about how the Storybricks engine will work in the world, and it's like how deep do the story branches go on the actions that we take? And they really haven't been clear, like, how deep those story branches go into the world. But one of the things that, like, I perceived when I saw the demonstration that they showed us is that it's not going to be binary. It's not going to be a flip of A or B. Like, you might have 3 or 4 different factions or working in the same area, all with different goals. Because we know that there's going to be at least 3, because they were when they showed us the demo, there was the Dark Elf faction, there was the Dryad faction, and then there was a suppressed Undead Shadow faction. And if you pulled in the neighbors from the Kobolds next door, you might even say there's a 4th force at work in the world. So it's never going to be like a binary choice, like it's either Dark Elves that you're helping or it's Dryads you're helping. Like, I would love to see that there are, multiple levels of complexity. I just don't know how deep it goes. I would say that, like, more than that, more than just 2 choices. But how far do you guys think it'll go?
That's a great question. It's one of those things where where we walk up to somebody and, like, how far, it's kind of one of the how far deep down the rabbit hole can we really go questions, and with the story bricks, like what do they have layered up behind that? Like what is like it's kind of like a flow chart. Like if A happens, does B happen? If yes, then no, then no.
It's a
like
giant freaking Venn diagram.
Oh my goodness!
Man.
I would love to see. I would love to see their diagram in the background. That they're like, okay, so this and this. But do you think that they've done it? Do you think that that's going to be there?
Yeah, absolutely. They're talking about hidden things, even in this AI demo. What is it? The Dryads and the Dark Elves are fighting, but you don't know that the Dryads are holding back this evil spirit. That's not binary right there. I mean, I guess your choice to either help the Dark Elves or help the Dryads is, but you're already having this unintended consequence. So I would say that wherever possible, I imagine that's the role they're, or what the path they're going to walk.
So the question is, help the Dark Elves achieve magic gathering, or help the Dryads keep the evil spirit at bay. But either way, something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that's pretty interesting to me. It's like, then the question is like, we don't know if we really don't know what's planned. Like if we don't know what's happening, because remember, we're going into this not knowing what the story we'll know what this kind of like what the basic story is, but we won't know like what each hidden thing is. We don't know what the actual the center goal for each character is. Like if the Dryads really are holding back a spirit, and we destroy them with the Dark Elves, then spirit comes out, right? And then what happens then?
Yeah, and imagine the orcs in the area who are really happy mining now have this spirit that's attacking them in their minds, and so they find out who the hell unlocked it. They find out the Dark Elves unlocked it. Now the orcs are going to go to war with the Dark Elves and the evil spirit at the same time. Now you're fighting two factions right there. So, I mean, you have to think about how much the micro can affect the macro. When I walk down the path, and go ahead.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a lot of butterfly effect, and I think that that's really sort of a fantastic way to do this, because I like the idea of one of my actions impacting something that I didn't really intend to impact, and I don't necessarily think that like really severe consequences of that should be a thing, but I guess it depends on like how smart do they want to force the players to have to be. And I don't mean this as like a slight to players, but like if you help the Dryads do this and not the Dark Elves, then the Dryads are great and the Earth is fine and blah, blah, blah. But if you help the Dark Elves and then all of these spirits go away, what starts happening to the ecosystem there? Can it have a greater effect than just the Dryads are gone and these bad things come in? What about the water? What about the grass? What about the trees? And how does that continue to impact the entirety of the ecosystem, not just in that region, but around it? Like, how deep are they going to go with consequences? Because you could have tendrils that went and went and went and went. And there's a point where it would be too excessive.
Right. And I think that it's going to be like maybe 2, 3, 4 levels deep at the most, but not more than that. It's just because I don't think the difference that the problem, as Krona pointed out, that the divergence between the servers is going to be too great, because I think that they're actually SOE at this point in time is encouraging that. Like they want to see the little bit of divergence, but that when the deeper you go, the more divergent your servers can be, and so you want to maybe allow a little bit of divergence in the different stories between the servers, but not like that huge like rabbit hole, like deep down into the ground type stuff.
No more Curiouser and Curiouser, said Alice.
Yeah, it has to do with how much the macro talks to the macro and vice versa. For instance, an NPC is not going to grow in levels, so it's not going to be, while it does adapt to its surroundings and things like that, it's not going to be going out and questing itself or trying to find a sword because it wants to be a little more powerful. That's going to be dictated by the system. Same goes that if a faction is deciding to go to war, or this rallying call is about to be started, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to compute how many archers do we have, how much of this do we have. So that would limit you in a way that if you wanted to kill off all the archers, it might not make a difference. They just might spawn more archers to go to war. So I don't want to say it's going to be a complete butterfly effect. I'm going to agree with Kyless because it's insanely complicated. I would probably take down the servers, I imagine. You imagine thousands of players interacting with thousands of NPCs running around in a world, that would be insane. So I guess a little bit still... Yeah, it's still an illusion.
He agreed with me
how
again.
How emergent it is. Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
It is an illusion, but I think there is going to be interplay there. None of us know how much it will affect decisions. We saw our demo of the kind of real-time strategy map, macro level. Oh, they took this area, but we don't know how much competition really goes into. I almost said competition because of my speech impediment tonight, but I meant to say
mix the two words competition and computation together.
I didn't mix it. I just can't speak tonight for some reason. That's why I wanted to correct myself. Computation.
Metrocity.
We don't know how deep the rabbit hole really goes. Metrocity.
Go back to what Kai was saying real quick. She pointed out something that I think is something we should all think about is kind of what Sony thinks of us as players. Like when we go and we game in MMOs, we kind of are treated to the same kind of thing, right? We're always we know what to do. Like we can hop into any MMO that's out in the market right now and kind of know what the deal is. Run to the quest giver, pick up the quests, run to the quest, do the quest, such and such, such and such. And what Kai was explaining was like we have choice and we have consequences based on those choices. Sony kind of wants to think based on that, and we forget Rosong. By the way, chat, we took like 5 minutes to figure out what Rosong was. It's ROHSONG Rosong. So said like that, we can end that discussion.
Rosong?
No, Rosong.
Rosong.
Yeah, Rosong. It's tracking everything we're doing, and it's making choices. And there's one of the things that Chewy and I love. Then we were both watching one of the videos that Rosong will trick you. It's not just this guide. It's not just your map. It's not just writing down your story. It's also gonna f with you a little bit. It's gonna like dangle out a piece of try to bait you into a trap. It's gonna carrot on a stick you, and that's some cool stuff. Like I think Sony's trying to say like, listen, we believe that the people who play our games are intelligent, and we want them to use their brains a little bit, think about what they're doing in the world, think about their consequences, think about the choices they've made, and learn from that and see if that's the type of player they want to be. Like, we always ran into battle and just kind of go kill the bad guy because that's what the bad guy is, because the people said that's the bad guy. I'm going to go do that. That's in raiding and questing and handing the letter that 2 feet from the guy or slamming bear butts, because I knew that was going to come out sooner or later, but it's going to come out now. Like, if they told me to go kill bear butts, that's my deal. That's the deal. And I'm hoping we're stepping away from that. I hope to see a better game. Like, I don't feel like I need to go kill bear butts.
And that will haunt you in your dreams if you don't kill them.
I know.
No, they've got to put a reason. Like, what like the criticism about, well, okay, I'm gonna keep on the narrow with this. Like, that's the criticism of MMOs and the quest giving NPCs, right? It's like, okay, I'm standing right here, and the mobs I need you to kill are standing right in my vision, right over there, and you could just go kill them for me, and collect 10 of these. I'd really appreciate it. And then the next person that comes by, he tells the same thing. It's like, well, there's no realism there because you just got the 10 that I killed. So I would like to see, like, hey, if there is a quest out there to collect bear parts, whatever those parts may be, like, maybe that quest giver is like, hey, you know what? You gave me 10 bear livers and 10 bear butts already. I don't need any more bear butts. Go find something else to do. We're good. And that maybe if somebody runs by on a different server or later on, and he's like, hey, I need someone to get me these things that I can't get myself, and that person chooses not to, then there's a consequence for us not helping him out. And that's like, well, you know what? I needed those bear intestines to make, some sort of thing that protected this other thing, and because the players didn't give me this thing, there's a consequence, and now I can't do it. And that's that next evolution of NPC interaction, that story bricks, that, like, okay, the world changed because we did or we did not do something.
I would like to add, and I'm going to be very cautious about this particular subject, that should someone say that there is this village location and some of my people are locked up there, here is where you will find the keys. I need 5 of them. And you get out there and there's like 40. If I want to unlock all 40 fucking cages, let me. Don't give me 5 that I'm allowed to unlock and then ban me from unlocking them. If I find the keys to unlock them, I should get to do that. Don't tell me, oh, no, you completed the quest. Suddenly that key turns to dust in your hand and you're not allowed to unlock the cages anymore. Bullshit, I can unlock those cages. I can sort it. I can break it. I can do whatever the hell I want to open that freaking cage. Let me unlock the cage.
I am picturing something so awesome. You picture like a high security penitentiary. Kyless is dropping down in her like ninja suit past the wires and like presses the button, and then you see this giant prison riot just take form, and the prisoners are. It's kind of like oh god, what was that movie? Guardians of the Galaxy. They have a giant prison riot in that. That's what I'm
imagining.
Spoilers. Oh, sorry.
I will kill you. I will shank you.
To see the prisoners fighting the guards.
In your sleep, I know where you live.
Now I see why you're breaking people out of prison.
She's gonna shake you.
It's only game. Why you have to be so mad?
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
But no, I agree with Kai to an extent that if you are aware that there is like an oppressive force that's thrown a whole bunch of people in jail over in this castle, right? And so he's like, hey, if you could break them all out, that would really benefit me and my cause greatly. And so you go in there, and instead of the traditional MMO trope where you're like, okay, break 5 of them out and then return to me and turn in the quest, they're like, no, we didn't tell you how many to break out. You can go over there, and if you want to break them all out, I totally agree with her. There should be no artificial arbitrary limit to how many you can break out. But I think that at the same time, because it is still a game with mechanics, like you have to get keys and unlock it, and then
let me find the bastard that locked him up.
And those are sorts of things become that second and third tier of story development off of this whole like bust those people out of the prison, right? Because okay, so the first step is if you let more than 10 out, prison riot. If you let more than 20 out, the bandits that you just let out of prison, they form a new bandit gang and they go raid the city down the street because you just let them all back out. You know, that sort of like emergent gameplay or, emergent griefing. Maybe you did that to purposely raid that other village because screw those other villagers. It's funny to watch the bandits take over the city.
You make a great point. And when
you just twisted my good deed to nasty.
I know, absolutely. With it being arbitrary. So when we're talking about this AI system, I guess what it comes down to is not necessarily limiting the amount of interactions that can happen, because there's going to be limitations. There's going to be computational limitations, a whole slew of reasons why things will be limited. But the whole point, I guess, is taking out the arbitrary part, not making it randomly based, making it based on a structure that players can affect. You can limit sort of how they affect things, but just make it so that if it is a key, that it's one key that only goes to the cell, but then it's voxel based, so I can just technically break down the cell kind of thing. Tiggs was saying that in chat. That's what I look forward to in the immersive ability of the AI. The fact that it creates a living world and not necessarily a bunch of small little events that happen. It's the fact that things are structured, and if I do one thing, then something might happen, and then that affects other players. So yeah, I can't talk.
Nice. Oh boy.
Clearly.
Go home.
I still think that these are the sort of things that you can fairly easy Venn diagram out and be like, okay, so we've got this event that could happen, and if the event goes this way, it goes this way. I think that's well within the realm of capabilities of what they can accomplish. Do you agree or disagree? Do you think that it's that what we just described, right? We had like 3 tiers on a prison break quest line. Do you think that the servers can handle that amount of differentiation between one server and the next, and that level of customization on what happens on our server?
Why the hell not?
Yeah, let's go for it. Like, remember, like, people wanted PvP servers. Like, why not? Like, what happens on a PvP server if that doesn't happen, or if like two groups go in and one group comes out and they didn't stop the prison riot, or if they started something else and that caused something else to happen? Like, why not?
Do you think that what we just described, do you think that's too much power in one player's hands? Like, because now that I'm reflecting on it, I don't think that it's going to be a problem because of the levels of complexity that we've added to the world. I think that it's just putting too much power in one player's hand. Like, if they can cause a prison riot and start a bandit army by their one evening's activities, I think that is...
Maybe your scenario is too much power in a player's hand. I wasn't talking about locking them out of prison because they were bad guys and they needed free because I'm a jackass.
Why else do you put people in prison?
I was talking about letting them...
Who puts good people in prison?
I don't know.
I cannot
a lot of people who get wrongfully put in prison.
I refuse to bring up on the air what precisely I am referring to, but on our break, I will kindly remind him of what exactly I am referring to. As a matter of fact, I can just PM him and tell him precisely what inspired my conversation.
There's plenty of stories. I'm being a devil's advocate.
It's hard to argue the whole power thing, guys, like, because it's so situational. Maybe it's how they limit it, right? I could break out a whole slew of prisoners and make a prison riot, but who says that prison riot's going to have any strength? Who says that they're going to have the weapons or the abilities to really take down anybody? Maybe they get 5 feet and everyone destroys them. I don't know. That's going to have to come with balance. That's what I'm saying. Like, the beta test for EQN is going to be like, holy shit, let's not try and break anything, and let's see where the players are breaking it. I could only imagine how they're trying to brainstorm where the players are going to try and screw things up.
All I'm saying
it's insane.
Is that if it takes me days, weeks, or months in game time, and I can only get like one person out every evening, if I still want to put myself into a position where my entire night in game is spent breaking one individual person out because it bothers me on some sort of moral level, where is the harm in me being allowed to do that in game? And that's really all I was trying to get across earlier. Like, if I decide that's what I want to do, don't gate me. Don't tell me I'm not allowed to. Don't prevent me from doing it. If it doesn't have any sort of impact, then it doesn't have an impact. But holy shit, this is a dynamic world. Wouldn't it be cool if it did have impact? What if I release these 6 people and they go back to wherever they were living and be like, dude, this is what happened, and that guy, like, he's totally a necromancer and he's so mean and he's like manipulating us and blah blah blah, and like he's drawing us in at night and we had no idea how bad he was, and like, really?
What if you released the guy out of prison and he like told you to like come with him, like he knows the way out of the prison, like a secret way out of the prison, but you had to let him out of the gate? He teaches you like the thief class, like that's why he was in jail. Like, he was a master thief and he teaches you how to be a thief. That would be amazing. Like, you just discovered that, like, I'm gonna let this dude out of prison, and then all of a sudden you're a thief.
Yes!
Why not? Like, why not? We could go help the guy on the road and become a cleric. Why not let the guy out of jail and become a thief? Why not? Like, let that happen. Also, earlier, Legendary Neurotox, I was laughing so hard because, like, when you were like, Talon, I like, why do you not remember? And then Legendary Neurotox is like, it's sexy prison. That's what type of prison that is. Sexy prison.
Whoa. I don't think I want to go to that prison. Nope. No thanks.
That prison makes $1 billion.
Sexy prison is sex. What kind of...
Moving right
I'm
along.
having a really hard time processing sexy prison. Like, are the prisoners sexy? Are the wardens sexy? Like, do I get locked up and everybody else is okay, but the wardens are really freaking hot? Like... Are they wearing, like, short shorts and go-go boots hot? Like, is it that kind of sexy prison, or...
I don't know, but that's the
crime do you commit to?
I was gonna say, what do I have to do to go to jail?
Or is this the kind of sexy prison where you don't drop your soap on a rope?
Yeah,
When I
So,
said it's been a weird,
Just
weird
FYI,
week
we
for
have.
me, I warned you. I apologize.
We
Will
all-
there be stripper
we-
poles in this prison
Listen,
is sexy.
we
If
we
I'm
all
running
know
it,
how
there
that.
will be.
We have 5
We
minutes
all know
to
how
break.
that soap thing ends. It all ends like this.
One thing I see recurring a lot in chat, and Kylos pointed it out too, and not that I'm trying to segue away, I think that sexy prison is an awesome topic, and we should address it.
No, I don't think it is. I think that we
should.
need.
I think it's a cool topic. Anyways,
I
a lot of people are pointing out in chat that it's kind of easy to get carried away when talking.
Who's
about
taking
AI,
pictures
and
of
it's
you?
easy. No one. It's my camera doing something weird. I promise. I don't have.
Okay.
Well, actually, no. I do have.
He needs to
24/7.
start voguing with that.
Paparazzi.
Okay, Lady Gaga, calm down. I was saying that. a lot of
Vogue!
people
It's
in chat-
Madonna! Oh my god, are you that young?
He is that young.
Oh my god!
I say the
Someone
paparazzi.
Paparazzi is Lady Gaga. Vogue is different because Vogue is.
Honey, I
ladies
said
with an
Vogue.
attitude.
And you're like, knock your Lady
I was
Gaga
talking
crap
to
off.
Tamlin.
I was like,
Yeah, no,
Yeah, no.
No,
I'm sorry.
Tanlin did
But
say
I do know
paparazzi.
Vogue.
all
I'm not
y'all
wearing
are
pants,
fired.
apparently.
All
Why
y'all.
am I not wearing pants? I
Fired.
am a pantsless model. According to chat.
Oh.
Anyways, I was saying.
Oh,
Real
jeez.
quick, something to note before we go to break. A lot of people say that this AI is really ambitious and that, it's easy to get carried away. I'm going to say that, of course, it's easy to get carried away because SOE is hyping the mother effort out of this.
Yep.
When we're told that it's going to be amazing and we're not given the stipulations on it, we're not given, the what ifs. We might not be able to do this. The past is having major problems,
Well,
we're
we just
seeing a
showed the
delay,
video.
but it's pure hype. It's pure hype. So I don't think you can blame anyone for getting carried away with it because there's no evidence to the contrary.
Right, and we all watched the same video, right? They were showing that if you help these NPCs and they take over these areas, these are the consequences of it. This is just a natural extension of what they've shown us. Like, maybe we take it like a notch or two a little bit more extravagant than what they've said they're going to do, but they're the ones who said that's what the plan is. And that's why I don't think that we're going like way off track here in saying that like that there's too much divergent because like they said, like the Dark Elves are taking over the Dryad land. The Dryads win, and the Shadow forces never come to light. On the other server, the Dark Elves win and then lose to the Shadows. And then on a third server, the Dark Elves win and then they also defeat the Shadows. And that one scenario that they've showed us on 3 different servers, we have 3 different outcomes. That's what they've showed us. And so I think that this is well within the realm of what they've said they can do. Now, whether or not they can deliver on the promise, that's another subject, but I don't think that's not on us. That's not us overhyping it. That's them not delivering on what they said.
That's us going with the hype train, not create. We're not the conductors of this hype train, okay? We're just passengers.
Oh,
Going
hold
along
on.
our
No.
Bro, what are you talking about? I'm feeding coal on this hype train.
I am not on no motherfucking hype train. I don't do hype trains. I hate hype trains. If they can do it, great. But I have zero expectation that they can. And it's not an insult against Sony. It's that I don't hold expectations of any game company to produce exactly what they're saying they can,
because
zero chances of that happen. Every single time, the hype train has been an entirely huge letdown, and what ends up happening is I hate the game every single time. And it's not because the game isn't good, it's because the game isn't exactly what they said it was going to be. I'm not on that hype train. It exists, but I am not a passenger.
We need to write down the topic right now for after we get to play with the AI, whether or not it was overhyped. I think we should take like a really constructive look at the AI at the time and see how it's affecting the gameplay. And the community.
We will probably talk
write
about.
that down.
We'll
2
probably.
years away. But we'll see it with landmarks soon.
I don't think we will. I think the landmark will be too small a sample to see what we can do with the AI.
Maybe.
However, I am assuming that we will talk about AI on the EverCast show once more before EverQuest next launches, and so let's see what they reveal to us in later on, like developer diaries and that sort of thing, because open development.
We'll probably talk about it if H1Z1 gets its.
Oh, that's a great point.
So we'll talk about. I have a feeling we'll talk about it then because we have a little sampling of what it'll be like in EverQuest Next. Then
Sort of, except the bears and zombies
stuff,
aren't going to discern who you are when you're wearing a helmet, or they're not going to try and talk to you and get you to help their family. They're just going to try and kill you. But we will see it a little bit.
Chewina, out of my brain now.
It's a scary time when those two go along.
Guys, it's 9:00, so we probably should go on break and hop.
Yeah,
But it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah. Oh,
I know it's
So
6
let's
here.
be drinking.
So you know what that means? We got to get on the hype monorail. That's not a not.
Monorail goes real slow.
That's why I want to go on a hype monorail. It's not as bad as a hype train.
You should have said like the bullet train, the hype bullet train, if you're
Oh,
or
no.
the hype jet,
Hype
I guess,
snail?
or
The hype.
the hype rocket ship. The
boy.
rocket ship. to
The hype
Hypeville.
Listen,
break that we were going to take.
Listen, here goes.
Uh-oh. He said
Oh, wait.
listen. He said listen.
Yep,
Shh.
That's it. Oh, go ahead.
Who said listen?
Nobody said listen.
And we're camping
Peter
in
said
5,
listen.
4,
Oh.
3, 2, 1. We'll see you right after break.